Okay, welcome everyone to Saddle Up with Lazy J and special guest, Vanessa Dee.
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
guys?
you might want to just...
A little closer?
it's got a mind of its own, really. This is Saddle Up After Dark. We do these at night now because sometimes we get bumped for interesting things. But I'm really excited for tonight. We have a great show in store for you. That, by the way, was Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys with Steel Guitar Rag, which is, I mean, just like the steel guitar song, or one of them anyway. Vanessa is joining me today because she is organizing something very special. And she, like, I don't want to steal your thunder.
Oh, no, please, go for
I
it.
just want you to, maybe take a minute and tell us what this is all about. What are we talking about today?
So we are talking about the Cryin Steel Guitar Convention that happens February 6th to the 9th here in Vancouver, BC. It takes place at the Wise Hall, Green Auto, the Heatley, and the Pearl for the big ol' rap party. We've got a lot of really fantastic featured players, pedal steel, lap steel, dobro, all kinds of fun for a very specific kind of nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna play some tunes, and we're gonna talk about steel guitar and country music. There's a topic it's hard to get me to stop once I've started.
A very specific type of nerd. That's
Yeah.
a good way to describe us, I think. That's not even a euphemism. That is
No,
just...
it's not.
Yeah, and I think actually it's funny because I've gone. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. I've gone deep into the pedal steel forum.
Oh my God, me too.
And we're going to talk about that in a
Yeah.
bit. But I
Yes.
guess the big question first. And we've got some good stuff cooked up for you. Vanessa has actually chosen some tunes, some pedal steel tunes that are near and dear to her heart. So we're going to play some of those. I'm going to play some of my faves as well. But first, I got to ask you, what prompted you to do the convention? Like, why? Why are you doing this?
Well, I mean, for me, like steel guitar in general, and pedal steel specifically is like my favorite sound in the entire world. As a country music singer that does not play any instruments, I find the concept of playing without one to be generally intolerable. So the only way that I can make sure that never happens is to find as many good ones as possible and ensure that there will continue to be more. I guess like the original idea came when we were working on a concept for Fest with No Name, which unfortunately due to a number of issues did not come to place. But one thing I was really excited about doing was a pedal steel showcase with a bunch of pals. And I realized that this was kind of like the part of it that I was most excited about, and that I felt like there was a lot of excitement about from other folks too. Obviously, there's a lot of great younger players in this city. Of course, Scott Smith's Adventures in Pedal Steel is always packed at the Pain and Ship, and we're excited to do a bigger, badder Friday night version of that at the Wise. But we can dig into that a little bit later. But yeah, for me, it's just like it's my favorite sound in the world, and I just want to keep hearing more of it. I also for me, I kind of joked. I was like, well, I'm not a good guitar player, but I feel like I really want to learn how to play pedal steel, but I'm not like a great conventional learner. So I figured if I just surrounded myself with experts and made them tell me everything about it for like 4 days in a row, that I could absorb enough about it to and that's sort of our goal too. Like none of us are experts. We just love it a lot, and if we give people the chance to get all the info they need to become one.
I love that. I mean, maybe just the proximity, the osmosis, the osmotic effect of it. I think it's really interesting. It's really niche. Also, I got to say, and I think this is just because you are so synonymous with the country scene in Vancouver here. I didn't mention that you are you have a band, Vanessa Dee and The Brightsides. If you don't
correct.
know Vanessa, you got to check them out. Very good stuff. And you're also the proprietor of Heartache Number 2 Records.
That's correct.
And you put on all the shows.
Yes.
You're just always there. It's amazing, and everyone loves you.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
And I think I guess maybe what we could talk about is the way that the convention is sort of organized. Like, what can people really expect from it? Like, whether you're an artist or just someone coming to watch some of the shows.
Well, I mean, if you kind of dig into like the the history of pedal steel or steel guitar in general, and you look back at sort of the existing conventions, which I have a lot of respect for, and obviously if you're deep in the forum, you've seen a lot of the St. Louis convention photos and videos because they always come up. And you know, when I sort of fell down the rabbit hole with that, I was like, oh man, that's like the version of this that I want to do. But I also like, you know, there's so many great players out there and great moments for them to meet. But like, I kind of want to do something that's not just a bunch of like stuffy old white guys patting each other on the back. Although I'm sure there will be plenty of that too. But like, you know, like I want it to be accessible. I want it to be not just, you know, like a professional conference. I want it to be for anyone that, you know, has a love of country music, that wants to understand the instrument better, that just wants to like hear cool stories and participate in like a meaningful way. And so for me, it's not like, you know, it's a convention, you're going in like a trade show. You know, there are a bunch of different shows that we can dig into as the night goes on. There is like one full convention day that is sort of more typical with a bunch of workshops and lectures. And there's fun little things on the side too. Like you guys having a special edition during the weekend as well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and you know, like it feels like you just kind of make stuff you make magic all the time out of like seemingly nothing. Is that like a personal motivation for yourself? Like why do you, Vanessa, why are you so invested in this kind of stuff? I guess if it doesn't exist, you just want to make it happen. You want to create something that isn't.
I mean, yeah, for me, there isn't like, even when I'm doing another job or if I'm working on a specific project, like even my spare time ends up being projects that I want to work on. Like if someone like comes to me with an idea, like they better be fucking prepared to like go have a beer and make it happen. Because if I think it's a good idea, I'm going to bully them into doing it. I don't know like where the drive comes from. It's just like I've always been around live music, and it's all I've ever wanted to be a part of. So for me, there was like never any other choice. You know, there's other stuff that comes up that I've, you know, gotten super interested in and I've delved into for a while. But I mean, it always comes back to music. You know, I want to bully my friends into doing the things that I want to see happen. Yeah, I guess it's just like an inexplicable force. It's like
It's the nicest bullying, though.
Yeah, totally.
It's really kind bullying.
Affectionate.
Affectionate bullying. Do you? What drew you to the pedal steel in particular, or like, do you have any favorite players? You know, I know obviously you're in a country band and you're a huge fan, but like, what is it about it that is special for you?
I think for me, it's like the loneliest, most beautiful sound. And I think that when people hear it in country music, that they don't necessarily even know that that's the instrument that they're hearing. Mm-hmm. That like, for me, it's such like a guttural, like physical reaction to hear that. And you know, like I feel like for me, like early stuff would have been like, you know, like Patsy Cline, and like Hank, and when you dig into like, obviously we're gonna play some Birds. You know, Sweetheart of the Rodeo was a big record for me like that. Uh-huh. Obviously, you've got Lloyd Green, you've got J.D. Maness on that. I mean, I'm a big Lloyd Green guy. I love Lloyd Green. Like, that's like my number one. I mean, obviously, Buddy Emmons, such a huge, massive part about how that instrument has come to exist. Also a big fan, but it's sort of like a Beatles versus Stones scenario.
Yeah.
Also like Ralph Mooney and Sneaky Pete, obviously. There's so many. And I was like, as I was like trying to make the playlist for tonight, I was like, oh, but like I need to have a song where like this person plays, or like I don't want to like double up on, you know, on like too many. Like I don't want to like lean that hard on the Buddy songs, but also like, you know, it's
tough. I thought that too, right?
Yeah.
But you want a good representation of all of them, right? Because I think the thing that people who, you know, you hear it and you're like, okay, I get that. That's like country music.
Yeah.
It sounds a little Hawaiian sometimes because that is the origin of it. But it is also, it should be said that all of these players in a way that maybe is most it's like the finest point on this kind of thing. It's that every player has a unique style, right?
Totally.
Like so unique, and almost to the point where like within a few bars you're like, oh, that's so and so, right?
Oh, 100%. And I feel like let's say like Ben Arsenault's record, for example.
Yeah.
Like that was like a moment when I was like listening to that record. I was like, I know the difference between Scott's tone, Matt Kelly's tone.
Yeah.
Like, I've played with both of them. I know which one's which now. Or like obviously Caleb Mellow's on that record. He's fantastic too. Did want to get him out this year. Schedules did not align, but I'm going to keep bullying him about it because I think he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the tone is like, it's so personal, and like something I've heard from folks that have played it for a long time is like, you know, there are so many ways that you can reach the same tone or effect that like you're almost baffled by choices. Which is something that I can relate to.
Yeah.
But as evidenced by how long it took me to make that playlist. But yeah, I feel like it's so personal, and the people that play it are so precise and intuitive, and it takes like a real special kind of character to get behind one of those. And lucky for me, I know a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. What is it? What is the character? Do you think?
Yeah, like.
What's their deal, man? What?
like again, like very precise, but also like a little bit of a maniac.
Yeah.
Like I feel like some folks are like very, very measured and restrained, and some folks just come at it like a wild animal. And
Yeah.
And because there's so many ways to reach the same tone, like.
Yeah.
You know, there is I feel like a few archetypes of,
Yeah.
of steel players.
I hope this is making people think a lot about this instrument, right? Because like you just said, okay, there's so many ways to reach this the same like note or tone. Like there's all different ways at it, right?
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's the thing that's interesting.
I mean, like that's kind of like a great metaphor for just general existence, right?
Yeah,
like there's so many ways you can get to the same place, and it's about how you head there.
That's pretty. That's deep, man. That's I know. I seriously like. That's kind of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's like it's a voice of theirs, right? It's like their, cosmic way of communicating.
Yeah,
in a
absolutely.
sense. Yeah. And so, can you talk a bit more about the talent here in Vancouver? Because sometimes people, I think Vancouver's a bit of a sleeper in some ways. Like we've talked about it with Amanda, but there's so much talent in the city, musical talent in the country scene. And you've got quite a lineup of players at this convention, which is quite impressive. Can you talk about a few of them? I know we'll play some of it when we play the songs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, me and Amanda and you and Amanda have discussed, like there is just like an absolute wealth of talent here, and I've said it before that I'll keep saying it, that Vancouver breeds a lot of great talent because the people that do it here kind of have to need it.
Yeah.
In order to do it, because it's like 10 times harder to do it here than like anywhere else.
Yeah.
Vancouver doesn't want you to be in a band. Vancouver wants you to be in a condo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, a lot of people that might be kind of like hobbyists sort of fall by the wayside, which is fine. They can find their way back when they have time for it. But, a lot of the folks that I know that play shows all the time, like, there's no money coming in, like, and if there is, it's like here and there, and it might cover your jam space rent, but like you're doing it for the love of it. There's what other reason is there? I mean, as soon as you start doing it for other reasons, then the universe takes all your opportunities away.
Yeah. Hey. Exactly. Man. Damn. Okay. I need to. Yeah. We're getting heavy. I love it. I think. Also, if anyone who's listening that isn't our friends, just bring your wallet, because you will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
This is great stuff. What do you want out of the convention, Vanessa? Like, what would be your perfect convention? Probably it can't be perfect, but if you had it your way, how would people feel?
Oh gosh, I mean, like, I just want people to like make connections, and maybe if we do it again next year, which I suspect that we will. People come in with plans for like people that they want to collaborate with, or, like for me, there are like certain festivals. I mean, mostly outside of the country world that, I've gone to like every year for like 14 years.
Yeah.
And like, I know that a certain number of people are always going to be there, or like, I'm gonna like be like, hey, like, are you gonna be there this year? And you have that thing that you always look forward to, and then you sort of have that, like, just creating things to look forward to just like keeps people alive. So if like nothing else, like I want people to have something to look forward to. Ideally, like people leave loving and understanding steel guitar and country music more, and maybe wanting to play themselves, or starting a band, or writing a song, or for me it's not about what I want to get out of it. I want people to have all the opportunities that they have to get what they want out of it.
That's what drives you.
Yeah, totally.
We need a lot more of you, Vanessa. Like that.
Well, if I could clone myself.
I love that. And so I guess most importantly, unless there's anything else that you really want to say about the convention, I'm curious, like, how can people attend? How can they get tickets? If you're an artist, how can you be there and like learn from other artists? Like, what is the way to get into this thing?
All great questions. So weekend passes for Cryin Time are available via Dice FM. You can go to our Instagram, Cryin Time Steel Guitar Convention. It's all one word. And you can follow for updates there. I've got a couple more surprises that I'm going to roll out tomorrow, along with the full schedule for the convention day. Weekend passes are $100. They're limited to 100. You get a pin, you get a bumper sticker, you get a t-shirt, you get access to all of the events over the weekend. All the events are available single show pricing if your schedule does not allow it. It is going to be an infinitely better deal to purchase the pass. We tried to structure it that way on purpose. But yeah, everything is online. Give us a follow. We're going to keep posting spots on our featured players and talking about the bands that we're excited about. And we're also going to do take a giveaway via Range. So keep an eye out for that. We're also doing a giveaway via Rufus Guitar. They're going to give away a couple of passes, so give them a follow and watch out for a couple more steel reels that we've got coming from a couple featured players that they are shooting there in the shop.
Beautiful. And you can follow, Vanessa Dee The Brightsides, Cryin Time Convention, Saddle Up with Lazy J.
Yeah,
we're putting all the information out there all the time. So on Instagram, that's where you get a lot of the info. Mm-hmm. And is there anything else you want to say about the convention, or is there anything else you want to plug in general?
Oh man, where do I start? A couple of cool things is the Sunday night of Cryin Time is going to be the second edition of the Grand Old Pearl, which is a new monthly Sunday night country music showcase that we are doing at the Pearl on Granville. Brought to you by Moto Live, I Am the Eggplant, and Heartache No. 2 Records. Mm-hmm. We've got a handful of those queued up through the spring. All of them are really exciting. A lot of deadly tunes, real exciting cats. I am really excited to, after the weekend, announce the details of our partnership with Showbud, an absolutely classic brand that I can't believe is letting me push them as hard as I am, because I feel like in the moment when I was designing that logo to go live with all the social media stuff, they announced that they were coming back, and I literally got off my couch and I was like, ah! I feel like I wanted everyone to be as excited as I was, and we have to tell everyone that this brand is back, because they're the reason.
Yeah.
They're the reason why we have anything like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it should be noted that these instruments can be hard to come by. Actually.
They are. They definitely are. I will acknowledge that they are not a inexpensive instrument to break into.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like they're pretty worthwhile. I had a friend recently, a younger friend that plays, and I was like, oh, you must be beating off plays with a stick. And he's like, Vanessa, no one wants to hear anyone talk about pedal steel. And then recently I was having a conversation with someone, and then they immediately stopped answering, and I texted the buddy and I was like, men don't want to hear you talk about pedal steel either.
There's got to be someone out there. Yeah, go to the pedal steel forums. That's where you can talk about pedal steel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I got something to say about that later. But do you want to play some tunes?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we do here. We play the tunes. So the good news for our listeners is Vanessa has she has really thought out some great tracks, some pedal steel stuff that's close to her. Do you want to introduce this first one?
Oh yeah, this is
the Lloyd Green tune.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's an instrumental, and there's just something really appealing to me about it. Aside from already being a Lloyd Green fan, I was just sort of on a deep dive, just watching still videos as I often do, stoned late at night, and I was just like, God, this is such a beautiful song, and it felt like really, really magical when I heard it. There's like there's some like weirder, like more occulty stuff that I could dig into when it comes to like certain songs playing the backgrounds of certain actions that you make to incur change and conformity to your will.
Okay. All right.
And this is just a magic song to me. I listen to
Actually, let's just talk about that for an hour.
Okay.
Actually,
yeah, totally. If you want to come back.
Change of format.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm hyped for this one now. Yeah. So, okay, should we play this sucker?
Absolutely. Let's go. Lloyd Green, Venus Man.